Patrick will soon be announced as hate rival Lorette Walsh's running mate. If true, this
Who are his
move will
sources,
virtually ensure
You might be talking to them.
Democratic candidate in the race for New York State governor.
All right, guys. Now for the original OG Power fans. I was kind of going through Reddit, and I was looking at some things, and I looked up the thing where a guy mentioned in the Reddit about actually watching the full original Power and loving all of it. And then the one thing that kind of got under his skin was the fact it was that James St. Patrick was going to become, he was lieutenant governor, or going to be lieutenant governor, and he was going to move on to do bigger and better things and stuff, right? Now, the one thing about it is that I was reading, and it was pissing off a lot of people. They was it wouldn't really make any sense. The man, he was a drug dealer, kingpin, drug kingpin and stuff, running a whole organization. Why would he become governor? And it kind of just ruins things and stuff, right? I was reading some things. I'm like, okay. Some people's was making a good point, right? And then on top of that, him being, I guess, in the Democratic Party and stuff, and being a politician and stuff in general and stuff. Because the one thing about being a politician and then being in Democrat, if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, you go through a lot of stuff. And I was reading some things about that, and I'm like, it is true, because one side is trying to help the people and another side is trying to help the people. Both sides are trying to help the people in a sense, right? But over the common years of being either a Democrat or a Republican, you can say maybe one side is out to destroy and the other side just remains neutral or just doesn't do anything, right? That's the whole gist of the politics and stuff. But it's a whole fuck ton that goes along in there, which I'm not gonna explain. I'm not gonna explain. But James St. Patrick, becoming governor and stuff, I can kind of see it as to why people was kind of turned off by it. And personally, I didn't mind him becoming governor. I didn't mind it at all, but I would have been all right with it if they would have just stuck with him running nightclubs throughout different parts of the states and stuff, right? Which they kind of did. Well, kind of did it in the whole Miami and stuff, where he was expanding his business and stuff. And you would think that it would have been more of that, him expanding maybe in California, maybe Detroit and stuff. And who knows, maybe he could have had a nightclub in maybe Chicago and stuff, right? Because I think how I wouldn't say how the story should have ended, but more if Courtney Kit was going to expand the ghost story, the ghost mythos, or the ghost story in general, maybe it could have been to the point where, okay, we went from the man who became a drug dealer, and then he got into, making the nightclub and stuff, opening up the nightclub, and then now he's leaving that life behind and stuff, right? I would have preferred it if Power Book Full Force just came off as an excellent, great show and stuff, and then expanded on Tommy's family and the stuff that went on in Chicago. So personally, I think it would have made a lot more sense as if, okay, he's expanding all these different types of nightclubs and stuff, right? And he's in Chicago, so he's expanding a nightclub in Chicago, and there's a lot of problems, as we've seen. There's a lot of problems, and I think it would have made a lot of more sense that if Ghost would have had the nightclub in Chicago and stuff, because, okay, yeah, we got CBI, we got the Flynn, the Flynn family, we got the Serbs, right? See, that shit would have been quite interesting if he's trying to, expand and do all this stuff. Now, I'm not saying, they would have, all of that would immediately would have happened to him and shit, but no. It's just okay, if he would have expanded in Chicago and stuff, so he has to deal with Walter. And Walter Flynn is a full racist. And he has to deal with that and stuff, right? Then on top of that, you got the CBIs, and then you got the Serbs. But See, because I'm thinking, because you start thinking about these things because Merkovich and the rest of the Serbs still haven't forgiven the fact that Tommy and Ghost killed Milan and shit and Jason. So it's like you know there would have been like something there. Like what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is basically I think the story should have been more of him. He's trying to become a better person, but the life is still bringing him back to what he trying to escape from, which I think should have kind of been like the story of Ghost, rather than him like, all right, fuck everybody, I win, and I'm gonna be on my light Yagami shit, I win and shit, and it's just like nah, you can't like that. You want that light Yagami shit, and it didn't work. So I think it should have been like that and stuff. Like he's expanding like the nightclubs and stuff rather than him being like lieutenant governor and stuff, because I understand what people were saying on that part where it didn't really make any sense. Like he didn't have any backing. He was just kind of already on a trial for like murdering an FBI agent. Oh, I'm sorry, a federal agent, right? So that was already like murky and shaky, despite him explaining that the charges was dropped, his records is clean. But you would think they would do further background check and be like, okay, his father had a nightclub, then some people was killed. It's like some more details about like his story and stuff, because it would have been like, okay, there could have been something, not anything drug related or anything criminal related, but there could have been at least something, which Councilman Tate tried to expose. Like, no, this man ain't clean, because when that guy from Queens was explaining, he was like, oh, James St. Patrick, no, I know him. Like, he ghosts. Like, he kind of said that there was some dirt on him. So, if a guy like that came out of nowhere to Councilman Tate and just said some shit, you would think that government or officials would have looked into more of his past and maybe found something. Maybe not, like I said, maybe not criminal, but found something, right? Maybe regarding his father and his death, something, right? Because that was never brought up. See, Ghost mentioned his father, I think, the first time in the first episode of Power, and then I think season 6 with Uncle Gabe. That was it. That was literally it, I think. I don't think he ever mentioned his father ever again. Well, references of his father, I should say, but I think that was it, right? So, I can kind of understand as to why people were saying that and stuff. Then also, when Trump became president, like, he didn't know anything about, well, he wasn't really affiliated with like politics or, he just came in there and stuff and, just became president without, the credentials, I should say, right? But for Ghost's character of him becoming governor kind of didn't really make sense, and it kind of pissed off a lot of people, because they like, yo, you going along and you just exposing everything, you're going public without like further backlash and stuff. Like, wouldn't you think that Tasha, out of all people, Tasha would have been like, this fucker is Ghost. Listen, I got a video that I kind of covered. Well, I shouldn't cover. Well, I should say cover, but I have a video that I've kind of been explaining about. If Ghost and Tasha would have went to jail, so I would encourage y'all to see that. But out of all people, you would think Tasha would expose me like, this motherfucker is Ghost, and out of spite, because the whole Terry Silver and all the other shit that came about. I'm just saying, like, if he would have became like lieutenant governor and stuff, because mind you, he did threaten her to take Yaz away from him, and then also he had already did the whole fake identity thing and stuff, so that shit was already in the works and stuff, if he would have won and stuff. But going back to what I'm saying previously, I believe that it should have just been him opening up like nightclubs throughout like different states and stuff, and then if like I said, if he would have had a nightclub in Chicago, this would have been perfect, because then if he would have had to do dealings in Chicago or try to get his footing in Chicago, then Tommy would have been there. Tommy could have met his family there and stuff, and then it could have been Ghost and Tommy in Chicago, but it would have been under maybe different circumstances where Tommy's trying to run the streets, and then Ghost is constantly trying to save Tommy while also starting up this nightclub in Chicago and dealing with Walter as he's controlling everything and stuff. But at the same time, would Ghost even want to even start a nightclub in Chicago, knowing that there's so much heat? And would he even go to Chicago because of the heat? But then on top of that, if Tommy was there starting up some shit, he's not going to leave Tommy. So he would help Tommy the best way that he can. He would back him. He's not going to abandon him and stuff. So it probably would have been Ghost and Tommy in Chicago. After all, there was a reference that Ghost mentioned to Tommy about Chicago. He said, "What the fuck would you do, go to Chicago?" Now, I know he said that. There's a clip that he said that, I believe, in Power season 5. I think 5 or 6 that he did mention some shit like that. But I'm not saying that it's not connecting to Tommy and Ghost actually knowing about, the whole Chicago thing. It was just like a little reference of him saying that, oh, like, where would you go? Like, you gonna go to Chicago or something? So you can kind of say that maybe Ghost did know about Chicago because of the drugs and, the ordeal. But of family wise, no, I don't think so. I don't think so and stuff. But let me know what you guys think on how do y'all actually feel about the whole, James St. Patrick becoming or attempting to becoming lieutenant governor. And do y'all believe that it shouldn't have that storyline should have never came up, and it should have just been him focusing on, spreading out the nightclubs throughout different states and then just going legit that way? Or do y'all believe that him becoming governor was like literally the best thing ever, and y'all wanted to see more from that storyline with maybe him, Ramona, and Yaz and stuff, if that would have happened and stuff? But I'm kind of curious about it, though. A mobster becoming a politician. Not saying that it never happened before, but, it is what it is. But like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will catch you all in the next one.